I honestly don't know what I have done wrong this past week, but karma is biting me on the backside repeatedly at the moment, and today is just ridiculous, and it's quite ironic because if I say to you at 6:45 tonight, I was driving home thinking I don't really have anything to vlog about tonight. Could really do with something interesting happening in the next half an hour for me to vlog about. And then I rang Claire and said, do you want to stop at Tesco's? She said, yeah, stop at Tesco's. And I stopped at Tesco's and I said to her, what does she want? And started making a little list. And then I thought, I wonder if I can afford beer. So I went in my account and I'm thinking that's lower than normal. So I'm scrolling through, checking I've got a spreadsheet on one app and my bills on another. And I'm like, right, they're all gone. Brilliant. Yep. Yeah, okay, I should have this much, but it's saying I have that much. And then I looked and my EE bill was £225. And it's normally around 50-ish because I have mine and Emily's on my thing. So I'm like, that's not normal. And I'm on the phone to Claire at that moment in time. And so I'm panicking because I'm thinking, what on earth has happened? And I went onto the app and sure enough, because Claire was like, well, say your bill was that much. If it's that much, have a look. And I had a look and yeah, it says my bill for this month was that much. And I went on it and my account was normal. And it just has Emily written there and 150 something pounds worth of MMS messages. And I just said, it says that Emily sent 150 pounds worth of MMSs. And all I heard was like a squeak in the background of Emily going, I didn't. I haven't. No, I haven't. And then I could hear just crying in the background. And I'm like, I'm going to have to go, Claire. I'm going to have to hang up and ring EE and find out what the hell's going on. So I did. I rang EE and I got on the phone to them and they were like, no, yep, this comes up as multimedia messages, MMSs. I forget what it all stands for. But I said, well, how? Like, she has an iPhone. She talks to people over iMessage. She can't send texts. She's got like a very low text allowance. And they said, well, does she use group chat? And I was like, well, yeah, because she uses iMessage. And they said, well, if someone in that iMessage has an Android, it will charge for a text. And I said, well, you can't do Android and Apple in an iMessage, so that's impossible. And they were like, okay. So they went and checked to come back and verify that's the case. And then they were like, well, she must have sent pictures or emojis. And I said, well, no, she'd have only sent them to iPhones, which means it was part of an iMessage. I was on the phone for an hour going through these different scenarios. I was actually sat in a Tesco car park, not giving up hope on going in and just buying the groceries and the bit of beer that I wanted to nip in there, thinking maybe they'll reverse it, refund me and I can go and buy a beer. But no. So I drove home and when I got in the door, Emily's phone was on the side. Emily was under a blanket and Oliver and Ben were just wherever. And Claire said she'd been under that since I'd made the call. And I just didn't acknowledge it because I was on the phone. I went and got her phone and I'm going through it. And basically checking the dates and the numbers, and they're all iPhones. I'm like, every number on here is an iPhone, so it was an iMessage. And we're going back and forth, and the woman's getting to the point where she was like, she actually put me on hold, and this is EE, and she put me on hold, and she come back and she said, send us the details of the numbers and we'll confirm they're on iMessage, and then if that's the case, we'll refund you. So I went to I narrowed it down to a date that most of the messages had been sent. And I looked in there. Now, 8 people in this conversation. Well, 7 people in this conversation, sorry, 8 contacts. One of the people in the contact group was a phone number and an email address as 2 separate contacts somehow. And when she'd sent messages to those people, it had sent it to all 7 of them, plus the email address, and charged the email address as a MMS. But what EE didn't know what EE told me on the phone. They don't just charge you for the email MMS, they charge you 50p per message sent, so that ends up being 8 messages, 50p each, £4. Now, I'd like to say this conversation was just a brief back and forth. Good morning, how is everyone? Good, fine, thank you. And it was like 10 quid. What Emily had done, and this is the only, I can't fault her on any of this really, because she didn't know. But what she'd actually done is loaded a load of the boys in their class into a WhatsApp, into a group, and just bombed them with hi, 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 a poop emoji, a picture of Elmo sat on the toilet bobbing back and forth, a poo dancing, hi, 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 hi. £155 worth of hi in this group, and then she just went about her business, not knowing what the green one means, because normally it's blue, not knowing that because she'd put this email address in it, which she hadn't actually done it. It's like she'd added person X in, and it had separated them out as an email address and a number. The woman on the EE thing, actually, because she put me on hold, and I was researching this, she'd found a conversation where someone had said they'd added someone into a group chat, and Apple had accidentally directed the messages to their email addresses, like a husband and wife were talking about it, and the husband had been texting his wife. Suddenly their bill was astronomical. I got off the phone. I actually asked people for cancellations. I kind of ranted at the E lady. She agreed to credit me half of the amount of the charge, so like 75 quid off my next bill and the next bill after that. But the rest I've got to pay, because the way she kind of put it was, it is what it is. Well, we went around in circles for ages. They weren't willing to rescind the rest of it. Begged them. I was like telling them couldn't make ends meet. It was Christmas coming up and all of this stuff. None of it worked. I'm a bit miffed because it's Claire's birthday in like a week, and it now means I've got to figure out what the heck I'm going to do. But she already said, like, just do it when you get paid. I get paid like 3 days after her birthday, so that'll be fine. She already got a couple of bits, and I can get her more. But it's beside the point. But I was just like, put me through to cancellations. I can't risk this again. Like, she has no control over this. This is just the phone spitting out a random email address and me getting a £150 bill. So when they put me through, the first thing they said to me was, you can put a spend limit on this of 0, so no spend ever happens. And I was like, well, it already has that. You told me that that's what I had when I took it out. And they said, no, we put a data cap and a picture thing on it, apparently, although they said they didn't. And we went back and forth. I said they did, they said they didn't, then they said they did, then they said they didn't. Then they told me on the phone I didn't have that, but I specifically remember discussing it with the man at the time, but they said they only brought it out earlier in this year, so it must be that they told me it was coming. I don't know. But so I didn't cancel it. I just put the 0 spend cap on hers and mine, so now we'll never ever accidentally get a charge. But poor old Emily in the background, I come out of the room and explained to Claire what I'd done. I put a 0 cap on it. I said I didn't cancel it. I was this close to cancelling it. I was this close to being annoyed with Emily about it. But then after reading through it, I was just like, this is absolutely not her fault. And, you know, to a point, it's mine for not knowing there was a cap on it. But it's just one of those stupid things that I can't really get around. I went to say I'm going to go downstairs and talk to Emily, but bless her, she was already laying on the stairs with the blanket over her. Claire said she hasn't come out from that blanket since you called us. It was like an hour and a half. So I called her into the room to chat to her, and I was trying to be really soft, and she was just in pieces. I've never seen her so stressed and upset, and her face was hurting from crying, and she was all puffy, and she wouldn't talk to me. And I said to her, I'm not angry. I need to just show you what happened so you know, and explain what happened in general. I explained to her that I nearly cancelled it, but I realised it wasn't her fault, and that it's now capped, and that I explained she won't be able to text her nan, she'll have to WhatsApp her nan and stuff like that. I explained that all the other locks are on it. She can't go to websites she can't go to any website unless I approve it. She can't download apps unless I approve it. She can't spend any money unless I approve it. I thought I had this locked down to a T, but we had a chat about some of the conversations she'd had in there that were fine, but where it was just a bit like, I just talked to her about some bits where I was like, if it's green, that means you have to, talk her through some bits like that. We lay there for a good 10 minutes of her. She just couldn't stop crying. She was stuck in a loop of crying. She was so upset. And I was just hugging her and hugging her. Ollie kept trying to come in and talk to us, and wasn't really helping. But I'm just exhausted now. It's been, my entire evening has been wasted on this to this point, because it was just unforeseen stupidity. I'm never wishing for a bloody vlog topic to pop up again, but also I just yesterday was a nightmare. That was my own doing. Today's a nightmare. It's kind of my own doing for being an idiot. I feel like Monday was a bit stressful because it didn't go particularly how I wanted it to. I'm having a really stupid week, and this is a nightmare. I'm so mortified that that was possible when it could just bite me like that. And I don't want you guys to get hit by something like that, or just completely out of the blue. I'm starting to come down with a cold, so my voice. I'm not husky because I'm stressed. I'm husky or quieter sounding because my voice is going. I was trying to sing along earlier on the way into work to the radio, and the only band I could sing along properly to was Blink 182 because my voice was whiny enough because it's wrong. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting a bit off a tangent. I can't believe it. I'm so frustrated, and there's nothing I can really do to get around it. I mean, it's not even worth complaining about at this point. The messages were sent. Be aware of the bloody group chat thing, because that's a nightmare. Like, I said to her, surely you could just whittle it down to the 20 or so 50p messages and just charge me 15 quid. Whatever it was, you don't need to charge me for all the ones that went to iPhones completely fine. But she was like, no, they went as SMSs because of the fact it went to an email too, and it's the only way it would work. And so yeah, very frustrating. I don't know what I've done wrong that karma keeps biting me now, but we're hoping. I sort of said to Claire, does that count as 3 things? I'm worried that there's a 3rd thing coming. I also said that it feels like Monday I had a stress about Ollie's situation. Tuesday I had a stress about my own stupidity. Today has been a stress about Emily's phone, and now I'm worried that tomorrow and Friday will be Claire and Ben's turn to create a massive stress, but who knows, we'll see. I'm gonna wrap up because Claire's just home from the shops. The nice end to the story is that she went and got me some beers because she could see how stressed I was, and I really wanted them. And I wanted to just sit and watch football whilst having a beer with her, and yeah, she's gone and done that. Ollie was also hovering around, but he's just ran away because he heard I was trying to wrap up because he was there. Other than that, I don't think anything else particularly happened today. I've got my new job title, which I'm quite excited about. I'm now the business and marketing coordinator, which they're fleshing it out, but that's very cool. It sounds very snazzy, and I'm excited about getting cracking on that role. Other than that, I think literally nothing else happened today, and it's weird how a day that was pretty bland suddenly ramped up to a 10 out of 10 stress fest, only to kind of subside with a sucks, but it's all right. Hopefully this is just preloading bad karma before I win massively on the Euro Millions on Friday, perhaps. Who knows? Maybe that will be what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry, I feel I've been very monotone with my voice. Subscribe, like, comment. I'm not always like this. Let's face it, if this is your first video experience of me, what an experience. But thanks for watching. So subscribe, follow me on Twitter, all that stuff, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.